Hi, it's been a while. The old way of doing things here came to an end, but I didn't disappear with it. I let it go and waited. Along the way, I learned. I adapted to a new world and became something new. So let me reintroduce myself. But first, I'm older than I look. The Romans named me when they arrived, and the moment they saw me, they knew I was special. So they made me the crossroads of European trade, and the people came from everywhere. Different languages, different hands, different ways of making beautiful things. And what I learned to love most wasn't the goods that passed through me, it was the people who did. And I got to know all of them. I know the maker, the one who carries years of skill no one will ever count. I know the exhibitor, the one who travels to stand behind the product. I know the retailers too, the curators of taste. They make sure beauty lands in the right hands, or fingers. And they carry two hearts, one for discovery, one for connection. Brands too, the big names and the quiet ones. And together they taught me one thing. The best work is often the hardest to find. And despite their differences, they all share something in common. It's that single moment when the right person stops and picks something up and goes quiet. That moment, I call it discovery. Access through discovery, to be more precise. Because if there is no access, there is no discovery. And who needs that access most? Those who've never had a stage to shine on. So I decided to give them a stage. And a new partner believed in it enough to build it with me, together with one purpose, to connect the East and the West, the jewelry makers from cities that never sleep, gems from the far side of the earth, cut, set and finished on another continent, watchmakers and brands from one valley to the other side of the world. All of it here in one place. East and West, no longer oceans apart, but neighbours now. So who is this new me? Not a person, not a trade fair. A city that missed you. And I'm taking my first name back. What's my name? Basilia. That was my first name, the one the Romans gave me. And now it's my next one. That's all from me for now. I hope to see you again. Come and discover what I've become.
Good morning and welcome. It's great to have you all with us here this morning. My name is Roman Ingrid. I'm the CEO of the Exhibition and Event Division from MCH Group. I'm delighted that I also have our friends from Hong Kong with us today. So also good afternoon to Hong Kong. Margaret, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Hello. Good day, everyone.
So Margaret, I will pass the word over to you for your opening remarks, and then I will take the word back to Switzerland. So please go ahead.
Thank you, Roman. A very warm welcome and a hello from Hong Kong. On behalf of Informa Markets, thank you for joining us today. I know this is not quite the same as being together in person, but I promise we will make this worth your while. I'm very thrilled to be here with Roman and Atta from MCH Group, along with our teams from Hong Kong as well as Basel. I'm sure we all can feel the velocity of changes in the industries we serve, especially now. It is not for the faint-hearted, and often the least expected partnerships proven to be the most exciting and impactful. This is exactly what brings us together today. In April 2027, Informa Markets and MCH Group are launching Basilia Jewelry and Watch Fair, a new platform built on a simple but powerful concept, connecting Asia, Europe, and beyond. Bring the jewelry and the watch all under one roof blending inspiration with real business. All of this right here in Basel, a city synonymous with innovation, heritage, and a global connection. This is not about adding another event to the global calendar. It's really about meeting the unmet needs. The buyers who want to source closer to home, and for Asia suppliers expanding the reach in Europe, and for the industry that has been asking for a robust platform to outpace the shift to stay ahead in one of the world's most iconic cities, and here comes Brasilia. So you may ask, why Informa Markets and MCH Group? Because we believe we are better together. MCH Group, with over 100 years of history, continue to create iconic platforms, including Art Basel, one of the most prestigious cultural events in the world. Our partner and the team know how to build stages that matter, events that bring people cross continents, and with sophistication, long-term commitment, and of course, Basel itself. And Informa Markets, as the world's leading B2B event organizer, we go 1 inch deep, 1 inch wide, and 1 mile deep in each of the specialist market that we champion. We are the industry insiders. Jewelry and Gem World Hong Kong is the industry's most important sourcing event, and we are proud to be part of the close-knit community of designers, suppliers, retailers, wholesalers, and influencers. The numbers tell the story. We organize 15 jewelry and gem fairs across 9 cities worldwide, and now Brasilia is the latest to make the perfect 10. Last year, we connected over 260,000 buyers with over 9,000 exhibitors, actively engaged over 1 million global industry contacts. This gives us something rare, scale with insight. And with our partner, MCH Group, we're not just adding capabilities and capacities, we strive to better serve the next generation communities. So we are launching in April 2027, and honestly, I can't wait. To Andrea, Roman, Atta, and the entire MCH Group, and also my colleagues Dan, Celine, Callis, and Informa Markets teams, thank you for leaning into this adventure with great courage and conviction. And here is to the late night brainstorming meeting, bold ideas, and make Brasilia Jewelry and Watch Fair the highlight of the industry. And to all of you, especially friends from the media, thank you for being part of this journey, even if some of us are experiencing first time through the screens today. So let's co-create this exciting chapter together. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Margaret, it's great to see you. And with that, I would pass over to Dan, who's also with you in Hong Kong. Dan, please.
Hello, good day from Hong Kong to our media friends, partners, and customers from different parts of the world. It's my great pleasure to join colleagues from MCH Group to share this exciting project with all of you. Margaret has brilliantly laid out the vision for Brasilia Jewelry and Watch Fair. Please allow me to further elaborate how Brasilia fits into the global roadmap of Informa Markets jewelry portfolio. Different events serve different market segments. It is this diversity that keeps our industry healthy and dynamic. Our existing shows in Hong Kong, Istanbul, Tokyo, and other key locations has been serving their markets exceptionally well, and they will continue to do exactly that. Brasilia brings something truly different. It's a curated European platform where buyers across the region can meet suppliers from Asia, Europe, and beyond. We are bridging the gap between the ultra-luxury segment and accessible B2B sourcing by gathering over 400 exhibitors in Basel. Our value proposition to those exhibitors is clear: direct access to European buyers who are actively seeking innovations and specialized product capabilities. Backed by Informa's global network and MCH expertise creating platforms, our exhibitors are not just getting a booth, they're gaining visibility, credibility, and a connection that are genuinely relevant. On the show floor, our focus is not simply to fill the space, but to instill commercial and cultural distinctions that are relevant to our industry, for which Arthur will share with you shortly. We're also building a content-rich conference program to deliver local market insights and to facilitate cross-continental, cross-cultural dialogues. To summarize, we are presenting a global jewelry and watch industry with a new platform, one with purpose, with mission, and a personality. We cannot wait to welcome you all to Brasilia Jewelry and Watch Fair in April next year. What you are witnessing today is just the beginning. Thank you all.
Dan and Margaret, and again, thank you very much for being with us in the room today. So if you can switch to the presentation. Today, we're not just launching another trade fair. Today sparks the beginning of a new chapter for the international jewelry and watch industry here in Europe. We started this project by listening, having countless conversations with brands, with manufacturers, industry associations, and partners across the globe. Before we started designing anything, before we started developing a concept, before we thought about naming, we wanted to understand the answers to the one fundamental question, which is, what does the industry need today? And one consistent feedback that we had over all of these conversations was that the industry has evolved and the platform needs to evolve with it. We see a great market opportunity here, and we firmly believe that great industries need great marketplaces. And the consistent observation over all the conversations that we've had was that a large part of the Swiss and international watch and jewelry industry no longer has a dedicated home. The very top end of the market has found a home, but the broader commercial ecosystem hasn't. Manufacturers, suppliers, independent brands, retailers, buyers, the companies that represent the backbone of this industry deserve a platform designed around their needs. We believe in this opportunity, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is why we are here today. Not to create something from the past, but to build something for the future. You may ask, why now? This project has not been developed overnight. We deliberately took our time. We didn't want to rush into this. But after months of conversations and years of analysis, we came up with one conviction, that the time is now. Now, why this partnership? Building such a platform requires the right partnership. And as Margaret and Dan have already mentioned to you, and as you may be well aware of, Informa Markets brings the most powerful jewelry and gem network, the relationships, the reach, the proof. And MCH Group brings something equally important, the experience in building world-class platforms from Basel for the world, something we've done over a century. Our ambition is clear. We want to create Europe's leading platform for jewelry and watches. As we are here in Basel today, there are cities that host exhibitions. And then there are cities that help shape industries. And Basel belongs to the second category. Because innovation, quality, craft, international business, Basel has stood for it all for centuries. And Brasilia builds on that heritage but it also looks firmly into the future. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the beginning of a journey. And let me clearly say, we are under no illusion. Great exhibitions aren't built in a single edition. Brasilia is built for the long term. Great exhibitions are built through trust, through consistency, through partnership, and through listening, day after day, year after year, edition after edition. So today we're planting a seed. And in April 27, that seed will become the first edition of Brasilia and will evolve after that. Together with our exhibitors, together with our visitors, and together with our partners. So this is not a launch, it is a beginning, a platform that will grow with the industry it serves. And with that being said, I would like to pass over to Arthur, who will show us how this vision will come to life, and who will also show us why we choose the phrase "city under construction" for this first edition. Arthur, please.
Thank you, Roman. Hello, good morning, Basel. Thank you for being here. Hello, Hong Kong. I hope you're enjoying your afternoon. So as Roman mentioned, I will present you the creative journey that we've done through all the process until now. So basically we started this project asking ourselves why climb the Mount Everest? Because it's there. And for us, this sets us into tonalities. The first one, of course, it's the ambition. When one looks into the Mount Everest, we have a focus. We know where we want to go. But the good thing about climbing the Mount Everest and any kind of mountain with this altitude, you have summits, which you have to stop on the way. So you just don't take the helicopter and go up. So this is a little bit the tonality and the emotion and the spirit of our project, based what everything Roman and Hong Kong team done regarding the business and positioning in the market. So what you saw in the beginning is our manifesto film. So it's a 3-minute, which is going to be online. And here, what we're trying to do with this film is basically giving us our introduction, the origin as well, the audience that we are talking to, from the exhibitors to the retailers to the brands, positioning as well our mission and the reveal. And as you can see on the film, the idea is a letter that Brasilia, the city, is sending to the industry and everyone, saying that she's back and I miss you all. So we started to go into the positioning. So this was our first step to go into the creative journey. So as we already mentioned, the fair as a distinct positioning. In one side, we have the efficiency side of the business. And then the other side, we have the prestige. So what we tried to do here was to uncode these words, looking into the efficiency side, which for us, it means access. So giving access to any person, to any exhibitor to go in. You go in, you do your business, and something that doesn't cost you a fortune. On the other side, we have prestige. Here, what we also try to do is to find a different direction when it comes to the word prestige. Again, giving it a different meaning, because for us, at the end of the day, because of the products that we're bringing, it's quality that you didn't know that existed. Then for us, finding something that you didn't know that you wanted, it's the moment of the discovery. That's a prestige. And normally there's no price for that. It doesn't matter if it's $5 or 2,000. It's that moment, and we think that's the prestige. And we put that into discovery. This Roll It Up goes into our positioning, access through discovery, and our tagline for Brasilia, between East and West, extraordinary is discovered. So how did we got there? a lot of months working, thinking, but yeah. So we basically looked into the Basel heritage. We looked into the market gap. We looked into the branding in the fair industry. We looked into the industry default, the B2B target, the production default, naming, and as well art direction and design. So all of this was basically the tip of the iceberg of what we've done so far to come with this solution and idea. So the creative inspiration started what I call it the pad thai analogy, or the ragu analogy. So basically what this means is normally in Europe, when we eat the pad thai, we have tendency to change the recipe. So we adapt to the European palate. Same with a ragu out of Bologna. Normally they put creams and all those kind of stuff, and they still call it a ragu. So for us, that was the beginning of the inspiration to go into don't adapt the origin, because you lose the thing that makes it worth it. And the same thing happens with the trade fair industry. It adapts everyone in the same grid. Then we started to think, and before going a little bit more deep, and then a trip to Florence started to come with this question: if Ponte Vecchio in Florence was a fair, would you ask to turn down the experience of being there to fit in a commercial trade fair grid? We don't think so. The point is, the bridge honors the origin. It didn't dilute it to serve a commercial format, and still, everyone loves it. So neither should a fair dilute the experience, especially one where East and West, where many cultures come to the same floor. So we decided not to adapt the origin to fit the fair, but to build the fair around the origin. So we asked what kind of format that can hold all of these different realities and different cultures into a place. So as you've seen, it's a city, because cities holds every culture without flattening any of them. A city has no single owner. It gets better over time and not simpler. And it doesn't ask you to adapt. It adapts around you. And a city holds everything. You have the arcades, you have the maisons, you have the corner shop, you have a supermarket, you have an atelier, you have an avenue. So we all live in a city. So yeah, as we mentioned, we don't want to think as a fair. We want to think like a city. Because you don't attend the city, you explore it without asking permission. That's access through discovery. So welcome to our city, Basilia, the jewelry and watch fair. The meaning of the name, as we all know, it's the first name given to Basel from the Romans when they arrived. Yeah, it's a city, we're building a city, so I call it Basilias. It also means queenly. So if you look into the origin of the name, it also has this backbone. The logo holds the jewelry and the watches. And if you can't see the details, the one on the right side is the watch. From Basel, you need to use the Discovery magnifying glass. So after this, we started to think about, okay, how are we going to bring this concept into the space? How can we continue this narrative? And as we all know, from any kind of cities, everything radiates from the center. So if you start looking into examples around the world, from Paris, etc., you can have this a layout already. And then from the center, you can already imagine like the neighborhoods, districts, valleys, hubs, avenues, courtyards, piazzas, and more can be born from this. So we do the same here in Hall 2. Why we do this? Because we can. So basically what we've done, we looked the hall from the top, we looked into the corner and how cities are built, and voila, that's when we started to see that we have something here to build a layout which is inspired into a city. From here, of course, working with the sales team, curation and everything, we're going to start building our neighborhoods, our districts, and this is where we start bringing all of the cultures together and not just into a normal grid. And to finish, Rome wasn't built in one day. It took a few years, decades, centuries, same with us. So our first edition in 2027, we see it and we call it the city under construction. Again, going back to the Pad Thai, we are doing the reality of the thing, and we are launching the brand, and this is how we started to bring into this. Of course, this approach, when you start looking into examples, when you start thinking about the booth construction, how we're going to create this experience inside the hall, this is where we see the art construction meeting the booth. So here, this was our inspiration, and of course, we build it from here to start showing how this can come to life inside our hall. Again, very important, the two lines on the side, this is conceptual. Of course, now we've been already working with the design team, curation team, and of course from now on trying to find the best solution where we can have this expression of a city under construction, where we can have an expression of neighborhoods and cultures coming together in the hall. And as well with scenography, as you can see here, we are, for example, looking into the streets and the floor. So basically what we want to try to do here is putting a city inside. So yeah, this is the tip of the iceberg. So as you can see, coming from the business side, going into the creative, we reached to this point, and of course, from now onwards, working more closely with all the experts and the team to start building our beautiful city in Brasilia inside Hall 2. And thank you, and we look forward for you to see what we will become.
Thank you very much, Arthur. So with that, we are at the end of the presentation, and would like to reiterate how grateful we are that you took the time this morning to be here, and now I guess we would be open for questions in the room. I think there will a microphone be passed.
Yeah, hi, I'm Steve Last. I work for the news agency Keystone SDA, and I would like to ask how is the Brasilia supposed to be different from the Basel world, and how should the Brasilia succeed where the Basel world failed?
Thank you for this question. It's a very good question, and it's an obvious question. Let me start my answer by saying Baselworld is no more for more than 7 years now, and it will not come back. What we're proposing here is a completely different positioning. It's a completely different concept on how our exhibitors will exhibit, to actually also make it much more affordable. And really putting the product in the center rather than the shell that is around the product. And Art alluded a little bit around the production default and how we will build this city. So this should be at the same time reflect the cultural diversity and the positioning of discovery, which means that there's going to be products that you will not find in any other fair in Europe, but also, be affordable for the clients, because the reality is it needs to be in the current times, and so that's one of the big differences. I would say, all in all, what we're launching here is something completely new, completely different, not only with regards to the fair that happened in Basel before, but also with regards to any other fair in this sector that happens in Europe. Just wait for the microphone to be passed.
Thank you. I'm Tim Delfs. I'm a watch journalist, freelancer. You use the analogy of a city. A city is open to everyone and the entry is free. So who are the clients of your fair, and will they be free to enter? I mean, will the fair be open to anyone in Basel and coming from afar?
if I just may, so when you say free to enter, do you mean in terms of the client and we welcome who exhibit their products?
No, I'm talking about the visitors.
Ah, okay, I got it. Well, first of all, thank you for this observation, and I would definitely echo what you're saying, is that the city is open for everyone, which means that, and I said in my presentation also that, you know, this is the first edition. We're constructing a city, so we're very open in terms of both visitors, but also exhibitors who we will welcome. Now, in terms of being this open to the visitors, you know, if there's a need from our exhibitors that, and I guess you're alluding a little bit between the B2B and the sort of public days. We've had the conversation around public days. It's a decision that we will make once, you know, the first exhibitors will be on board. So again, there we will listen. As you're very well aware of, you know, that is a bit the trend in this industry, that it is also open to the public. If our customers, if that's a need from our customers, then it certainly will be open for the public. Maybe we just keep the, you passed the microphone.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Andy Hoffman. I work for Hodinkee, which is an American watch publication. You spoke about 400 exhibitors. Can you give us any detail if you have secured any exhibitors, and what you expect the mix between watches and jewelry to be? And then if you can give us any sense of the budget for, you know, the cost of this event.
The cost for the exhibitor, I suppose.
Cost for the exhibitor, yes. And the cost in general. Sure.
Yeah, okay. So that's a few questions. So the mix of jewelry versus watches, we do think that at the beginning there will be more jewelry manufacturers. Of course, our hypothesis, and you know, based on the conversations that we've had with many people in the industry, especially in Switzerland, and you know this very well, is that, you know, we have 65 Swiss watchmakers currently, 67 I think in the last edition, currently at Watches and Wonders. And of course, there's also satellite fairs. If you look at the entire industry, depending on, you know, what stat you believe, there's between 250 and 350 Swiss watch producers. And I'm not mentioning the Germans, the Japanese, the Americans. So, of course, we believe that over time, the watches will also become a higher sort of number in the exhibitor grid. I mean, we will see now as we build this city together with the industry. Our current hypothesis is that there will be more jewelry because it's just very obvious that there's not a space for the type of exhibitors in Europe currently that we're targeting. And in terms of your question, have you already secured? We will communicate as we go along, you know, who actually, you know, checks in once the contracts are signed. What I can assure you, though, is that we've held conversations with important players in the industries to make sure that they are aware of what we're doing, but to also get input. I mentioned before we took months in discussions, and the feedback was quite positive. We really believe that the timing is now. How this will grow, we will see over the next editions. Thank you for your question.
Hello, I'm Serge Maillard for Europastar. Just asking about also the choice of dates, of course, in April 2027. How do you set these dates compared to Watches and Wonders? Do you see your fair at the same time? Do you see it coming afterwards? Yes. And how do you facilitate the logistics? Yes, it's a very good question. Thank you for that question. So we deliberately communicate April 2027, and as you're very aware of, Watches and Wonders has not yet communicated their dates, but they're typically in April. So our aim is to have an overlapping period. So starting when the professional days in Geneva come to an end, we open the professional days in Basel over the weekend. In terms of logistics, we see it very complementary when it comes to the exhibitor base. As I mentioned in my presentation,
the top end of the market has found their home, and it's a very good one. So we see ourselves as very complementary. So for the exhibitors, there will not be any logistical challenges as we see it today. And of course, the buyers that come from all over the world to Switzerland already, they have the chance to also come to Basel when they're already in Switzerland. And as you know, that is actually something that the industry has done many years ago. I want to address one question that I didn't answer that you asked before, which was around the cost. So that was a very important point that we looked at when we designed the actual production of the show, because the basis that we started from is that our clients, the Basilia clients, cannot spend millions on booth construction, and we don't want them to. And we want them to be here and bring their best products in order to fulfill our promise in the positioning for access to discovery. And so the cost will be public once we issue the exhibitor brochure, but it will be in the range that we believe is affordable for the clients that we target.
If I may, just another question. Between Hong Kong and Basel, does it mean there will also be an edition in Hong Kong, or what does this connection really mean?
I think as exhibition organizers, we focus on the task at hand, which means establishing and realizing our vision that we have for Basilia and for the industry here in Basel. As I mentioned in the presentation, this is not a finished product. It will evolve with the exhibitors and with our visitors over time. If there is a need from the market that we see, we certainly, with our partner, would have the opportunity to do so. But right now, this is not our focus, and it is not our plan. Are there any other questions? You can keep the microphone if you want.
You mentioned mostly finished products. Will the fair be open also to manufacturers of unfinished products like hands, etc., and maybe also machines?
Absolutely. I mean, it's what we have mentioned is, what we see in the core from the beginning. What you're mentioning, of course, is then, if we say the broader commercial ecosystem deserves a home around their needs, that is something that will be part of that. And to your question earlier, a city is open, so it certainly is also open for that part of the industry.
If I may. One of the goals also is to be the European center for watches and jewelry. We know there are already exhibitions taking place in Germany or in Italy. How do you compare to them? What would you say can be your added value, maybe?
Yeah, thank you. I mean, that's a very good observation. But actually, these fairs, so you're mentioning Germany and Italy, have existed for 50 years each, for a long time, even when Basel still had a fair. And you are very close to the industry, if you take a closer look, what actually is an industry is a very beautiful, but very Italian-focused fair, so for that part of the industry. And if you look at Germany, it's very much focused on the German, maybe Eastern European market. What we're proposing here is to connect East and West, so be a truly international global platform for our industry. So that's the biggest distinction. And that's, by the way, also the biggest, or one of the biggest needs that we identified when we talked to all these industry stakeholders that I mentioned before. Are there any further questions in the room? There's one more question. Let's wait for the microphone.
Hi, I'm Andreas Schwald from the BZ, which is a local newspaper or regional newspaper. Could you elaborate a little bit more on the aspect of jewelry versus watches? why you kind of changed that?
You mean the sequence?
Exactly.
Well, as I mentioned when the question was asked before, the top end of the market for watches already has a home. We believe that there's an important need for this commercial backbone and for large, actually in volume, a large part of exhibitors that are looking for a home also in the watch industry. And in jewelry, that need is even greater. It functions a little bit different in terms of how jewelry and watches are sold and sourced. From a buyer's perspective, it doesn't matter so much. If you look at the vast majority of retailers and buyers, it's quite fragmented market, and a high percentage actually sell both, sell jewelry and watches. And in the higher end of the market, you see a trend towards mono brand retail. So we believe that in the segment that we're targeting, from a buyer's perspective, it needs both. And we believe also that it needs both from an exhibitor perspective. The sequence is chosen based on the need that we currently see. Thank you for the question. Are there any questions to our friends in Hong Kong from the room? Please, we have to wait for the microphone.
Yes, and maybe you could elaborate on the Asia element and the Asia involvement in this event. And how it, and how that will be different. And also, can you discuss the ownership structure, how it is structured of this event? Who owns what? You're both partners, obviously.
Margaret, can I pass it over to you?
Sure. Thank you for your question. When we say Asia, as you know, there is no one Asia. It's a very dynamic region with very diverse product offering in terms of jewelry and gem. So we have a lot to offer, and we listen to our customer, like Roman said. There's a great deal of interest to really bring unique design and also value for money to a lot of the European customers. Our team are very energized by this offering. So a lot more to come with a lot more local Asian communities and pavilion support. And you also asked about our partnership. As you know, Informa Markets, we have over 550 leading event brands around the globe. Looking underneath, actually, very significant percentage of them are structured on long-term partnership just like this. In Asia, in Europe, Middle East, America. So we firmly believe success is a partnership. It's very much a co-creation process between MCH and Informa. We divide and conquer. We bring our complementary resources from creativity to brands, sales, marketing, content. So yeah, we're equal partners very much. That's a spirit Informa is always adhere to. And I believe this is the recipe for success. Ultimately, given where the world is, as I mentioned earlier, there's so many changes, and the changes are rapid. So we need to create a platform that with enduring value. So ensure our customer, both exhibitors and attendees, they will actually get not only the return on investment, but also return on time. Coming to Basel, they will get a great deal of fulfilling experience and also real business at the end of the day. So our customer can be successful in the long term and successful in meeting the unmet needs of the young generations in the retail market. So this is our aim and our commitment.
Thank you very much, Margaret. Are there any other questions in the room for our friends in Hong Kong? There's one question in the back. Please.
Hi, I'm the editor-in-chief of Chinese media, and I've been in Basel World many years ago. There was a lot of luxury brands. So can you already share any commitments of support from major watch makers, jewelry houses, or luxury groups?
Maybe, Margaret, I pass the first part of the answer to you, and then I can elaborate on the watch part.
Sure. Actually, I would like to invite Celine Lau. He has been in the industry for decades to share some of your unique insights from our customers.
Okay, thank you for the questions. Regarding the exhibitor mix, as previously explained, we are bringing the variety and the diversity. So the branded sections has been explained, that has been well taken care by the Watch and Wonder in Geneva, and also the parallel jewelry event over there. So what we aim to bring is the variety. Regarding the mix, our current planning will be the jewelry will be taking about 50% of the total proportions, and then we will follow by gem by around 25%, and then the remaining 25% will be for watches.
Yeah, and maybe to add, and I think I answered this question, or it was phrased a little bit different. We will communicate the commitments as the contracts are signed. Today we're launching, and tomorrow we start actually selling. But what I can tell you is, what I mentioned also in my presentation is, this concept was not developed in isolation. So we listened carefully and talked to many different brands within the industry. And the response we got convinced us that we need to launch this platform. But as I mentioned, individual names will be communicated in close alignment with those brands, and not today. Thank you for the question.
Yes, I would like to add on with the current response from the industry. So we receive very positive response from the exhibitor side, from exhibitors from Hong Kong, from Turkey, from India, and also mainland China. Yeah, so we foresee that it is a journey of explorations, and then we bring all the parties to see the future market.
Thank you very much, Celine. It's great to see you also. We haven't seen you on the screen yet. It's good to see you too. All right. Are there any further questions in the room? Celine, Dan, and Margaret, you cannot see, but it's very hot in Basel today. So I think if there's no last questions in the room, I would like to thank you, Margaret, Dan, and Celine, for your time this morning and for all the work we have already, completed together over the last months. It's truly exciting, and we're really very much looking forward to bringing this vision now to life together. With that being said, I would wish you a fantastic afternoon in Hong Kong, and see you soon. And for the people in the room, with that, we will conclude the press conference. If there's questions or requests for interviews, these will start within, I would say, 5 minutes, if you allow me to have a glass of water in between. Thank you again for coming to us this morning. Thanks everyone online who has joined, and we hope to see you all soon. Thank you very much.